Ever wondered why Mars is called the red planet? It's not because it's on fire or painted red. That striking color hides an exciting story of history, rusty dust, and traces of ancient life. Let's dive into the fascinating secrets behind the redness of Earth's cosmic neighbor. Ever heard the nickname Red Planet? Yup, that's what people call Mars. But why is it red? Did Mars have a giant fire? Or is it coated in cosmic red paint? Haha, not quite. That reddish hue actually comes from something very rusty. Yep, you read that right. The planet is rusty. But wait, how can a planet rust without rain? Good question. Let's dive into the mystery of Mars's redness in a fun way. Buckle up. We're heading to outer space. Mars has been talked about since ancient times. The Romans named it Mars because its color reminded them of blood, which they thought fit a god of war. That red color is so visible from Earth, even without a telescope. That's why Mars is often linked to spooky, mysterious, or warlike things. But behind that fierce nickname, Mars actually has unique traits that make scientists super curious, especially that strange reddish color for a rocky planet. If you landed on Mars, you'd see dusty brick-colored ground everywhere. That red-orange tone is all over, from the sand to the rocks, but the color actually comes from a super familiar substance: iron. Yep, Mars has tons of iron in its soil and dust, but not just raw iron, it's iron that has reacted with oxygen. Wait, doesn't Mars have very little oxygen? True, but the story was different in the past, and that's where things get interesting. Way back, billions of years ago, Mars probably had water, and lots of it. Scientists have found traces of dried-up rivers, ancient lakes, and maybe even small oceans. When iron met water and a little bit of oxygen, it began to rust, forming what's known as iron oxide. That's the real source of Mars's signature red color. It's kind of like how old pipes at home get rusty when exposed to water. So basically, that red color took a long time and the right conditions to form. Even cooler, this red layer is only on the surface. Mars's deeper layers aren't all red. Dig a little and you might find brown, gray, or even greenish soil. That means the red isn't Mars's true identity. It's more like outer makeup. But since the dust is super light and easily blown around by the wind, the red ends up covering everything, making Mars look fiery red from space. Clever little planet, right? Mars's red dust isn't just for show, it's electrostatic and sticks to everything, including astronaut suits and robot solar panels. That's why Mars missions have to deal with this clingy dust. Rovers like Spirit, Opportunity, and Perseverance have struggled with it, especially when it covers their solar panels and sensors. So Mars's red color doesn't just make it famous, it also causes real headaches for space explorers. Even more interesting, Mars's red look has inspired tons of sci-fi movies and novels. From The Martian to Total Recall, that red backdrop makes Mars feel exotic, alien, and a bit dangerous. But if you actually lived there, the sky wouldn't be red. It'd look more orange or pale brown. So don't imagine it like a cartoon. The red is mostly on the ground, not in the air. Still, that color has helped make Mars the most iconic planet after Earth. Scientists are still studying the details of Martian soil through robot missions and orbiting satellites. They've found color and texture differences across various regions. Some spots are darker, or even bluish-gray. These differences give clues about Mars's history, whether it once had microbial life, how its climate changed, and how much water it used to have. So that red color, it's not just for looks, it's part of Mars's long story. Besides iron oxide, Mars's red dust can float high into the atmosphere. Sometimes, giant dust storms cover nearly the whole planet. Imagine a single storm bigger than all of Africa. These storms make Mars look even redder from space. But on the surface, light dims, temperatures drop, and rovers lose power. That's another reason why sending humans to Mars is so tough. But it's these challenges that make Mars so fascinating. So, why is Mars called the red planet? Because its surface is full of iron that's rusted over time, thanks to long natural processes and a rich geological past. But this is just the beginning. In the next episode, we'll dive deeper into Mars's history, how water once flowed, why the planet died, and what it all means for the future of humanity. Okay, now we know Mars is red because its soil is full of rusty iron. But here's a big question. If Mars once had water, where did it all go? How did a planet that was once wet turn into a dry, dusty world? In this episode, we'll uncover the dramatic transformation of Mars, from vanishing water and lost atmosphere to the possibility of humans living there. Let's continue our virtual trip to the red planet. The evidence of water on Mars is real. There are signs of rivers, lakes, and maybe even ancient seas. Some rocks show erosion patterns almost identical to Earth's. This means that billions of years ago, Mars had flowing water. In fact, the Perseverance rover is currently searching for fossilized microbes at the bottom of an ancient lake. But here's the strange part. Now, there's no visible water, just polar ice and a thin trace of vapor in the air. So what caused such a drastic change? The main issue is the atmosphere. Long ago, Mars had a thicker atmosphere, enough to keep liquid water on the surface. But over time, that atmosphere vanished. How? The answer lies with the sun. Powerful solar winds slowly blew away Mars's atmosphere because the planet lacks a magnetic field like Earth's. Without that protection, solar particles freely slammed into the atmosphere and scattered it into space. Mars probably used to have a hot, rotating core that created a magnetic field. But over time, the core cooled and shut down. When the magnetic field disappeared, the atmosphere began to erode. Temperatures dropped drastically, water either froze or evaporated, and Mars turned into the cold, dusty desert we see today. NASA's MAVEN mission has even tracked how the atmosphere was lost. It's wild to think this frozen planet once had weather and flowing water. But even with a thin atmosphere and vanishing water, Mars still holds promise. Scientists believe there may still be liquid water underground, protected from the extreme cold. Some even speculate that microbial life might still exist, hidden beneath the surface. That's why rovers like Perseverance and Curiosity are constantly drilling and analyzing the soil. They're hunting for carbon signs, fossil microbes, or anything hinting at Mars's biological past. All this makes scientists wonder, if Mars went from alive to dead, could the same happen to Earth one day? Mars serves as a kind of mirror to a possible future. On the flip side, many also see Mars as a new hope, a backup planet for humanity if Earth gets too damaged. Elon Musk even has colonization plans via SpaceX. But the big question is, can humans really live on this dusty world? Living on Mars isn't like moving houses. Its atmosphere is super thin and mostly carbon dioxide, so you can't breathe it. Temperatures can drop to 80 degrees Celsius, and solar radiation hits your skin directly. But humans are adaptable. Scientists are developing special spacesuits, airtight habitats, and even tech to create oxygen from Mars's carbon dioxide. The challenge is huge, but not impossible. Mars's red color might also be a problem. The dust is superfine and can get into electronics, or even lungs. Future astronauts will need advanced dust filtering systems. On the bright side, Mars dust could be useful. Scientists are testing ways to make Mars bricks using its soil. So Mars isn't just a photogenic red planet, it's full of potential for those willing to work hard to make it livable. And guess what? Studying Mars isn't just about the planet itself. Through Mars, we learn about atmospheres, extreme climates, alien life possibilities, and the importance of caring for our own planet. Mars is like a living lab for future tech, space exploration, and even human philosophy. And it all started with one simple question. Why is the planet red? From that, we get thousands of answers that help us survive, and maybe even thrive. So from its rusty red color to the mystery of missing water, Mars teaches us a big lesson. Planets can change drastically, and the future depends on how wisely we care for them. The red planet isn't just a neighbor in space, it's a window to the past, and maybe a door to our future. So next time you look up at the night sky, try spotting that tiny red dot. Who knows, that might just be our next home. From rusty iron dust to vanished water traces, Mars is no ordinary red planet. It holds secrets of the past, and maybe the future of humanity. Who knows? One day we might walk on its surface. But one thing's certain, Mars makes us even more amazed by the vastness of the universe. If this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss other exciting videos. Likes and comments will also help this channel grow even more. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.